This is my journal entry for May 2024. It has been a busy month for me here at home. The acquiring of a new gaming table has sparked some home renovations that took up a lot of my time. However, this new table has opened up some possibilities for me to play some games I've been interested in, but didn't have a place to play them. Now that I do, I picked them up. So let's get into this.
Welcome to Solitary RPG.
Welcome to my May 2024 journal entry. As you can tell from my desk, I have a few new style of games. I've got some more miniature focused games, and I actually got a really big kind of miniature card story driven game that I've been very interested in, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that. But let me go ahead and get my desk cleared off, and I can kind of show off everything that I have here, and we can get started. Let's kick things off with some blind bags that I picked up. I'm going to open one at the start of the video, and then I'm going to open up a second one at the end of the video. These are really cool blind bags. They have a coin and some dice, and also a dice bag with the D&D logo on it. And I watched a channel do openings of these, and I was just like, those look really cool. So let's see what I got. So I already know I've got the yellow dice bag. It's not a real big dice bag, but it's pretty cool. And inside you're gonna get some dice. So I've got some blue and red sparkly dice. Whoa. Not sure if the light's picking up the sparkle that well, but they're pretty cool. Give them a roll. Not too terrible. I don't know. I like buying these blind bags. I think it's a lot of fun. But there's also a coin inside. This one is Channel Divinity, which has a cool, it's a copperish color. And then it's got the D&D logo on the back. So that's neat. I'm really after the dice bags. I like just the look of them. Not too big of a fan of yellow, but you know, you get what you get when you buy a blind bag or a blind purchase. So I'll set those aside. We'll open the second one at the end of the video. Keep you in suspense. So now let's get into some of the things that have been going on at my home. If you've been following the channel, you probably noticed I bought a new gaming table. And that new gaming table has launched a home renovation project. So when my wife and I bought this house, it was a model home. It was already painted, but they used all kinds of different colors to paint the house to kind of show off some of the design features. And my game room, where I like to play my RPGs and stuff like that, was painted kind of this weird red color, and so it needed to get repainted. And let's show you. So here's part of the room. I had to do a complete color swap, and we went with kind of this bluish gray color, cool gray color for the inside of the house. As you can see in the background here, if you look on the shelves, you can see kind of the original color. It's like a burnt sienna color, and it still need to do that back wall, but it's all going to be done by hand, and it's going to take a lot of time, but just moving forward one step at a time. I needed to get the walls done because this completely disrupted our home. And let me show you the other picture. Here's the other side. You can kind of see that back wall, those back shelves, that reddish color better. This also led to me repainting my wife's gym spot, which is, I don't have photos of it, but there's another spot in the house where my wife has her gym equipment. So everything's disrupted right now. And since we did a complete color swap, I had to use, put a thick coat of paint down, and I need to just let it dry. So I can't put my hobby space back together again for at least a week to give the paint enough time to thoroughly dry, and so I can put stuff up against the wall and all that good stuff. But yeah, so I spent the last week painting. because I've been on vacation, and that vacation time really got consumed with a lot of that. Also in May, I turned 54. Yes, I'm an old man. And in celebration of turning 54, my wife and I went to a Comic-Con convention here in Arizona. We call it Fan Fusion because I guess Comic-Con's been trademarked for whatever weird reason. So now it's called Fan Fusion or Phoenix Fan Fusion. And just hung out for the day. It's always great to people watch and run into friends and see things. You might notice these maps on my table. There was a vendor there, and I will show you their card. Arcane Collector. I don't know if that's coming through or not, but it's just arcanecollector.com. They have a website. This is a local company, so these are two people I met at the convention. They're local, and they live on the east side. So if you're familiar with the area, we have a west side, east side mentality. The east side is very compact with a lot of cities, where the west side's a little bit more opened. Anyways, they're selling these maps, and I thought they were really cool. They weren't asking a lot of money. I got all three of these for like 25 bucks. And they're printed on a nice cardstock. They're single-sided, 1-inch squares. And I thought they would just be kind of cool for me to add more miniatures into my role-playing games. I also thought these might be cool with the Hero Quest boards, using the cards for solo play, because all you do is lay down cards, and just give me some more boards maybe to play Hero Quest on. But yeah, I just thought they were neat and I picked them up. In last month's video, we talked about Mothership, and there was a supplement that was out called 1,000 Empty Lights. This is a solo supplement for Mothership, and I picked it up and it was delivered, and I'm really impressed by the quality of this book. It's not meant to be high production, but they use like a pulp paper or something you would have seen in like an old paperback type book, or maybe just like newsprint. I don't know what to call the paper, but it's like got a brown tint to it, so it just looks old, like an old document. The typeset is pretty interesting, and it was just all around, just it looks cool. I'm gonna give this a run for Mothership when I have some time. But yeah, I picked that up, and it came with this tape, which I thought was neat. I don't know if that's just part of everything they're selling, or if it was just a they're trying to get rid of some old products. I don't know. I didn't order this particularly, it just came with it. But you have all the instructions for this particular adventure on the inside of the packaging, and you've got a cassette tape. Thank gosh I got that cassette player a while back for another cassette that I received for a game, because now I can actually listen to this and know what's going on. This is just a neat little product that came with it. Last month I talked about Hot Springs Island, and I was going to use Pirate Borg. Somebody commented on that video talking about Castaway, another Mork Borg supplement, one of the many Mork Borg supplements. And I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about that game. And I thought I had it in my collection, but I didn't. So I went ahead and picked it up, because this will probably be more fitting for Hot Springs Island, because it's kind of about being a castaway. And it also has a solo adventure, which gives me an opportunity to mess around with the rules and see if it's something I feel is going to work for Hot Springs Island. So I did pick it up, and it's just looks, it's everything I expect from a Mork product. The art and the layout is awesome. This one's not as chaotic as the original Mork Borg, but it still follows that same aesthetics. I will be reading this and playing through this little solo adventure and see if it's something that, again, will it work for Hot Springs Island? We'll find out. All right, so now we're going to move into more miniature focused products and battle systems. This is a terrain pack, and all the terrain is made out of cardboard, And I thought this was interesting because now with my new game table, I can play some more skirmish games and use terrain. However, I don't own a lot of terrain. I don't have space to store a lot of different types of terrain. And I thought this stuff was interesting because it's cardboard, and the concept behind it is it can be broken down when you're done using it and stored better. So I could literally store this in just a box this size, and I don't have these buildings. And they make quite a few different sets. This is the Ruined Village set, or the Village Ruined set. And it's just really interesting product. And I haven't put it together yet. I'm thinking about doing it on a video to kind of show off how this product works, but it's really nicely printed, cardstock, and you get these little clips that puts everything together. And I thought this would work pretty good. This is actually being promoted and sold for Mordheim. And Mordheim is a GW game that has just celebrated its 25th anniversary. And there's been a lot of hype around it on YouTube recently for the GW miniature YouTube channels. And this company is like, hey, here you go. And they actually, I think they labeled it for Mordheim, which I thought was kind of cool. And yeah, so I might even look at playing Mordheim on the channel as like a solo RPG style game, but I don't know, we'll see. I would probably end up having to use a different rule system and just use the story or background of Mordheim, and maybe use the Morkborg miniature game Forbidden Psalm, and use that and play this. But yeah, this is the Village Ruin set, and they actually have a bigger box set that has all of the village buildings that aren't ruined. So yeah, something I picked up. Now we're kind of doing a different angle. Last month I showed you that I started painting some Stargrave miniatures because my buddy wants to run a campaign, and I finished my team. I got 15 miniatures painted up for that, and this is how they turned out. I'm quite pleased with the result, and we're actually going to be playing that in a day or two. So these turned out really cool. Now I'll talk about Dungeon Saga Origins. This is a game I've been interested in, and I've been doing a lot of research on, watching YouTube channels about the play. This is kind of a hybrid between HeroQuest and Warhammer Quest, and this is Mantic's competition for that play space. I was really impressed with some of the concepts in this game, so I went ahead and picked it up now that I got a new gaming table to play on. And I was fortunate enough to find a reasonably priced copy of the Kickstarter edition, and that gave me all of the adventures plus all the miniatures and additional miniatures that were not released. You could get extra creature encounters and extra heroes and things like that. So I got everything. I did not get the terrain pack that was released with the Kickstarter, and I'm not too concerned about that. This is a Mantic game, and all of the furniture that Mantic was releasing for this game is available in their terrain crates, so I can just pick those up. Or I can just use a lot of the stuff I have in HeroQuest. So for me, I think this is going to be a good crossover between using my terrain for HeroQuest to supplement some of the terrain that I will need for this, and vice versa. So yeah, pretty cool. The main thing I was impressed with were the boards, how the board is designed. They're double-sided square boards, and they can be put together in a variety of different ways, just giving you a lot of variety in the areas that you're exploring. HeroQuest, pretty flat, pretty samey. You're playing on the same board all the time. This just offers that opportunity to kind of mix things up, which is what they do here. And I just like that design concept. Plus the color of the boards are awesome. One of the other things I'll be able to do with the boards is use them for HeroQuest, because I got the Axiom Quest cards, and all the Axiom Quest cards do is you just lay them down, and then you just move through the dungeon or the spaces that you're exploring. So it doesn't matter what the board is. That's what I'll be using these maps for as well, is just doing like a shorter game of Axiom Quest, just to have some fun with it. There are some flaws to this game. I don't think there is a perfect game, but this game comes pretty close to being a pretty great board game, and hopefully more people will be exposed to it. For the few little flaws that the game might have, I still think it's a great investment dollar-wise to pick it up and have some wonderful adventures. The other thing that I think is pretty cool about this is there's a lot of different miniatures and encounters for your heroes to explore, and they're broken down based on the adventure books that you're going through. So here's your core rule book. Your first adventure book is Trial of Tyranny. This is going to be the one that comes out in the first retail version of the game, and you're mainly fighting the undead. So you have a lot of undead encounters. So all I really have to do is paint up my heroes, paint up my undead encounters, and I'm good to go for playing the game. And I'll be doing little train pieces along the way. But then you got the Glimmer of Greed, which is going to be your orcs or your goblins. They don't have orcs. Your goblin encounters. And then you're going to get into Daughters of Doom, which is your abyssal dwarves. And then we have kind of like a dark elves version of encounters. With the Kickstarter, there was a small little additional supplement that I get to give it a shot, and they have more encounters. So the box is massive. That's why it's not on my table, because it is super thick, tons of miniatures. But I get that opportunity of painting as I go. I don't have to paint everything up. It's not like a Warhammer 40k army or something like that where I have to paint everything up, and I don't have to have all the miniatures readily available. Just focus on one and move along. And that's what you'll be seeing on the channel moving forward. There's lots of channels that have done playthroughs on this. I don't think I'll be doing that, but it will become a painting project that I'll be recapping in my monthly journal pages. And now for the beast of a game that I bought. So when I was at FanFusion, walking around, we usually go just to shop and people watch. We'll go to a few of the lectures or conversations. I don't play games when I'm there. I usually only go one day, but I look around, and there's some of the local game stores are there selling their wares. One of the shops had Tainted Grail, Kings of Ruin. Now this is the follow-up to Tainted Grail's Fall of Avalon. This is something I've been doing a lot of research on to decide if it was something I wanted to pick up. So I really like this style game. To me, this is a little bit like Folklore the Affliction, where you're spending a lot of time reading. It's not necessarily a lot of like on the tabletop stuff. There are combats and things, but it's mainly reading. It's just kind of like a written adventure, and you're going to spend more time getting lost in the story than you are going to be fighting miniatures on the table. Like the map is all laid out with cards. Combat is all card driven. There's very little dice rolling in this game. The combat is done through playing cards and trying to find the right combination to take out the enemy, which is cool. There's social encounters, there's physical combat encounters, there's all kinds of intrigue, and this is just a very interesting game to me, and that's why I picked it up. I want to just give it a run. So I got the core box set when I was at FanFusion. It was like $111. Just like a lot of the other games from Awaken Realms, they like to put a lot of miniatures in the game, which for me was not something I was really looking forward to with this game. The miniatures, even though they're gorgeous, I am a miniatures painter, and I think it would be awesome to paint up all those miniatures, but they are very specific to this game. And to be honest with you, I don't think this game needed miniatures. And that's just a little personal gripe. I think this game would have been better off with just standees or tokens, something of that nature, because facing doesn't matter. All the miniatures are playing pieces and on this map, and they're just cards for the map. You're not doing anything with them, and some of them are just stupidly large. They're going to take up the whole card, and I don't know. That, to me, that's just, it was silly. But it is going to lead to me talking a little bit about some trends in the Kickstarter world, and Awaken Realms is guilty of it. They really like to sell this concept of sun-dropped miniatures. And as a miniatures painter, I laugh that the prices they charge to have miniatures sun-dropped, I think it's just a gimmick, and I don't know why people fall for it, but they do. And I understand that some people may not have the confidence to paint miniatures. So I'm probably going to do a video moving forward to kind of teach that concept, because you can really do some cool stuff on your own if you want to do what they're calling sun drop, because all that is basically the models are primed and washed. But here is a sample. This model came from Folklore the Affliction, which those miniatures are my test miniatures because they are scaled completely wrong for any other game that I could possibly play. So I use them for test painting or doing different things with them, and I grabbed this one and did a little sun drop of my own. So this is probably how I'm going to paint everything in this box set. But yeah, if you wanted to do your own, this process took minutes. I waited longer for paint to dry than I actually spent painting it, and it's all done with dry brush techniques and washes. And why companies are charging ridiculous amounts of money for people to get this technique done, it's beyond me. But people and their money, you know, some people have more money than me and are okay spending it for the service of having the models done. But I'm going to do a little bit of a video talking a little bit about this idea of sun-drop miniatures, because it's not new. It's been around for a long time. It was just used differently back in the day for advertisement than it is as something to put on the board. But that will be a future video, hopefully teaching others that you can kind of venture into this realm of painting miniatures, and without having to actually spend hours and hours and hours painting one miniature. You can do this sun drop technique and really do some cool stuff, especially with all the new speed paints that are out there. You can just have a field day. One of the other projects I've been working on is taking all my speed paints, priming the caps, mostly the tops of the paint bottles, white, so that I can put some of the speed paint on so I can see how the paint behaves. One of the things I've noticed with the new speed paint line is not all the paint behaves the same. Some of the metallic colors are really splotchy and glossy. So that's important to know if you're using these paints, is how they're going to behave, because they're not regular acrylic paints. Some of them have more pigment in them, so they cover better, while others have less pigment in them and they don't cover as well, and they act more like a wash. So I've just noticed a lot of behaviors with those paints that are unique. So I've been going through painting all the caps and getting samples down, so that way when I'm looking for the paint that I need, my speed paint, I can just pull it out. And I learned that from another channel that I watch that does a lot with speed paints and dipping inks, from Green Stuff World and some other things. So anyways, so with all that said, let's open up the other treasure pack that I got. So maybe we got a dice bag. Ah, I got another yellow dice bag. Shame, shame, shame. But which dice did I get? Oh boy. These dice are probably going to be given to my wife, because she likes the more colorful dice. But these are like a purple green with some sparkle in them. Let's give them a roll real fast. Not rolling too great. So let's put those aside. But what coin did we get? That's the important thing. That's kind of what I'm chasing. I was hoping for like a black bag or one of the darker colors, but I can use these yellow ones. And I got Wild Shape for the coin. Let me get it out of the package. And on the back, it still has the same logo, but Wild Shape. So these are just neat. Again, I enjoy buying these blind bags, and I enjoy watching videos of people opening their blind bags. Dice tray or the dice bags are really cool. The coins will just be a little added feature. So thank you for watching and have yourself a great day.